You're really close to finishing what I call the cycle on the painting business. You know, it's one thing. I had a call this morning with someone that has $100,000 maid service, but then they also have a pressure washing company, and they really quickly realized, I'm not making any money in my maid service. I'm making tons of money in the pressure washing, and their efforts are divided. And he's wanted to dump the maid service, and it kind of makes my stomach hurt when someone dumps, all that work. But in his case, it made a ton of sense. There was no profit, no margin. It was still really small, and so we could pivot and focus. But in your case, you have like a real asset here. It is profitable. Yeah. You have a team.
Yeah.
We just need to finish building the rest of the team.
Welcome to the Quick Talk Podcast with Joshua Latimer, where we discuss business, life, family, faith, struggle, fire, pain, and ultimately winning.
It's time to take massive action. Look, I can't work harder on your life or business than you do. It's ultimately all on you.
You know, God created all the food the birds would ever need, but he doesn't put it in their nest. You've got to go get it.
10 out of 10 people die. So how about doing something today that actually matters while you still can?
So, how's it going? What's been going on since
It's good. I actually finished the boot camp 2 days ago. So I've just been working like a banshee on it. I mean, I still got a lot to kind of go back through and digest, but it was just like hugely valuable for me. So I've been learning a lot from it, and been spending my time half days at Starbucks just typing out systems. So I've got now pretty good binder together that is a good enough minimal viable system I can get going with.
Yeah. Doesn't it feel good, even though it's really boring to actually do it? It feels so good to have it done.
I know. I counted up how many systems I've made. It's 142. So it's been slow trucking the last 4 months, but I've been
wow, dude. That is incredible. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. All right. So where are we at with planning for 2018 and what's standing in our way?
Yeah, so we did $89K last year was my first year launching, and then this year I'm planning revenue-wise to go for 200. The thing that's maybe unique with me is I'm also running a painting business as well. That's like completely separate from my washing company. So I think given those responsibilities, I think 200 is a good goal.
Okay.
But
between both of them?
No, painting does $500,000 in revenue,
that's right.
and then 200 in Revive. So yeah, I guess $700,000 if both companies combined is what we're going for.
Are you going to be able to focus mostly on the cleaning business this year? Do you have a full team in place for the painting thing, or are you just literally dividing your efforts?
It's kind of probably closer to dividing my efforts. Having said that, all our painters are all in place already, which is really good. So I've got it down to about 20 hours a week of my time in the painting business to do the sales and oversee the guys. That's kind of as low time commitment as I can get it to. And then I would say my other 40 hours a week or so are in my washing company.
Okay. And what kind of team do you have for the washing company?
Nothing right now. All I've got is one of my techs last year. He's coming back for half the season. And then I've got another guy I'm moving from my painting company over to washing, and we're going to start tech training in the next few weeks. So that's it right now.
Okay. And did you go through, you may not have done this, but I'll send you a link to it, but I have it's almost a 2-hour teaching on how to do your projections for revenue for your cleaning business for 2018 based on, I know in the boot camp you went through the year-over-year revenue section, right?
Yeah.
Where you kind of look at the natural ebbs and flows and the natural buying cycles for your market, and then you kind of line up your goal on top of those percentages. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Have you done that process yet?
Not specifically, no.
Okay. The reason that'll be, I think, really helpful for you on the cleaning side is it's going to show you up front pretty accurately when you need to hire, when you need to market, and you can also figure out the exact amount of customers you need to get per week for the whole year.
Right.
Once you have that in place, then you have your entire roadmap, right?
Right.
Are you primarily going to be focusing on sales while you're running the washroom, or are you going to be in the field?
Ideally just on sales. I mean, last year I was in the field just training up our guys like in April range. So that's kind of be my focus this year would be, get training done, move to level 2, as you call it, in administration, and then on to sales. So that's what I'm hoping to do.
And you make enough personal income from the painting business to leave the money in the washing business alone for a little while, right?
I haven't taken a paycheck yet, and I was going to talk to you about that actually on this call. Is I've got like everything's paid, taxes, the guys, everything, and there's still about $30,000 in the account. So
good.
Painting is a blessing and a curse, but it is good in that I can leave that money in to fuel my growth. So that's kind of what I'm excited about this year is how to allocate some of those funds.
Do you feel like you have a good grasp? Because I know it's only less than a year that you've done the cleaning. Do you have a decent grasp on some of your basic metrics yet? Like, for example, your average ticket or your average margin or your crew hour?
Like decently. Our average ticket is actually $600, which is pretty good, I think.
You're doing pressure cleaning then? Yeah,
pressure cleaning, a lot of vinyl washing, windows and gutters. We try sell it as like a full cleanup package for a homeowner at $580. And that's
Beautiful.
Like a lot of our revenue was just that spring cleanup package. And we also wash all the houses in my painting business, when we're painting outside. So that's a chunk of $25,000 revenue. That's usually pretty solid or it was last year anyways.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as margins, I've got like a pretty detailed budget made up on Google Sheets that kind of tracks everything.
Very good.
And crew hour, I mean, we were at about $56 for crew hour last year.
Is that for one person? Do you mean man hour?
Man hour, yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, oh no, that's not good. We got a problem.
No, totally. Yeah, that'd be like a charge rate. So if we're, a $500 job, it takes 10 hours, it'd be $50. So I guess man hour is the best way to say it. You're right.
And you are also tracking the total time in between jobs when you calculate that, right? Not just time on the job site, but from the shop to the first job, drive time to the second job, all the way back to the shop, right? Yeah,
that's all in.
Perfect, dude. You're crushing it. I love this. Okay, a couple other questions for you.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, what does your family situation look like is the first question. I don't know if you're married, do you have kids? And the second question is, what is your why for this company? What's the ultimate desired outcome here?
Yeah, totally. So family situation, I just got engaged. I'm getting married this fall. So that's exciting kind of transition. But yeah, no kids, just Alex will be moving into my condo. We'll be getting married. My why is I sent you some pics or a pic on Facebook a little while back of me at a water well in Cambodia. That would be my why is like I was running the painting company making fine money, but I'm in a franchise, which I'm not too stoked about. At the same time, I was hosting these events, raising money for clean water through charity water. So my pressure cleaning business is a result of my business skills and like my heart for service kind of getting married. And this company is the result of that. Yeah, you were actually on the front page of the local newspaper for that story, weren't you? Yeah, that was really, I emailed 3 journalists and they all carried my story. One was on the front page, and 2 were like more inside the local paper. But it was really good exposure for our company.
It's amazing, man. I love your heart. I love your passion. You have a great foundation. Now we just have to make sure we're working on the right things in the right order. The only thing that came up when you were kind of laying out the first few minutes of our conversation was that the goal at 200, honestly, it seems too low to me. Is there a reason? Okay. Is it like is there some reason that you think that is should be the goal?
I'm pretty like risk averse and very calculated in my approach, I would say. It's only low in that I just think that, you know, when my painting business gets busy in the summer, it's just like crazy. And I'm just trying to like hedge against that a little bit and maybe keep it a little lower, but maybe it is too low.
Well, it's not too low if you're going to run this season like you did last season, meaning when the painting business is crazy, you're totally right. Like you don't want to hate your life and be stretched too thin and be all stressed out, but you're thinking of it from a small business point of view instead of a larger business point of view, meaning the real question that I would be asking myself if I were you is, who do I need to have on my team so that I can fill in the blank, right? So it's not like you're going to be stretched too thin. You're only stretched too thin because you're probably still doing a lot of tasks that are kind of a waste of your time, not because you're above it, but because you're the CEO. Like, you need to assemble the team, focus on leadership, and create space for yourself. The more time you're doing selling, the easier it is to grow the business. But if you're, running in the field and checking paint jobs and all that, maybe we can look at, are there any potential leaders on our team? Is there any promotion opportunities? Who can we bring alongside you to level up the team so that you can think bigger, quicker?
Yeah, and I guess, Josh, I've just been hesitant to do that in painting because it's at a small enough level where it kind of goes around me. And because it's franchised and I'm paying a royalty, and I do want to get out of it once Revive is big enough, that I've always been a little bit like, I don't know if it's really worth it to bring somebody in. But you're right. Like,
I don't mean bring someone in to grow the painting business. I mean, bring someone in to take the pressure off of you for the painting business so you can focus really hardcore on Revive. I mean, it seems like you'd want to get Revive up and stable and profitable and larger as fast as possible, right? Because then you can start doing what you want. If you do 200 this year and 300 the next year and 450 the next year, it's going to take forever for you to kind of replicate it. With your experience of doing what you've done in the market that you're in, doing house wash packages, you could probably get there in like a season and a half if you did it.
Really,
right. Oh, absolutely.
But how big would you say there is? Like 500K, 4 or 5?
Yeah, I'm just comparing it to your current core business,
sure,
so that you can dump that, sell it, do whatever you want to do with it, and then kind of, have accomplished your first step in your goal. It doesn't have to take a long time to get up over $500,000. It's not like it's necessarily easy, but as long as you're working on the right things in the right order with a lot of intensity, it can happen really fast when you have a high average ticket like that. Yeah. Describe your market to me. What's the population like? What are the demographics?
It's crazy, man. So an average house here in my suburb area is about $1 million to $1.2 million bucks. So our real estate market has went crazy the last few years. So our target market, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, 55 years old with adult kids, they're all staying put in their house for another 10 years because it's so expensive to move anywhere and they don't want to downsize. So these people live in these gigantic houses and they have money, but they can't get on a ladder to go service them, nor do they have the equipment. So that's why they hire our painting company, and that's why they hire our washing company. We had one commercial job last year. Other than that, we're all residential. We've got 350 clients now on Customer Factor that we're talking to and calling through. And so that's kind of, it's largely homeowner based in 2 cities here, one of which I live in. So everything's really close by.
But can this company be like a $2 million company when it's at scale? Is it market big enough population-wise? Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Even when I leave painting with my franchise, it might take me 2 years to really grow this cleaning side, and then I could always introduce painting down the road as another service. Like, that would make sense. I've looked at, doing Christmas lights as well, potentially in the winter, but I just haven't had like the ponies to really spearhead and do something really well. So I just haven't really ventured into that yet.
Okay. Do you have non-compete agreements in place with your franchise for so many years after you dissolve the franchise?
2 years just for painting. They've let me go out on my own and do the washing, which has been kind of nice.
Very good. So how big does Revive need to be for you to comfortably unload the painting business?
Yeah, probably 400 to 500K revenue.
Okay. All right. And if we could do it quicker, does that interest you, or are you just content and patient? 100%
it would. Like, I feel like I'm almost just stuck, and I feel like business-wise and just hardworking-wise, like, I'm very, like, persistent person, and I think doing a 500K franchise is not as, like, I think I can do way more. And I think I've learned skills with, I have a staff of 10 guys with painting, and my turnover rate is very low. Like, I think I'm a good employer, and I just think I'm have pigeonholed myself a little bit, but now that
Are you a perfectionist?
No, not, I would say no. Certainly not what you talk about, technical perfection. That's so not me at all. Like, I would say I'm all the pressure cleaning stuff and hot water and this, like, I'm same with painting. Like, I don't even really know much about painting products. I just know how to market and sell, and hire guys. So that's why I'm excited to grow this, because I think
I'm trying to figure out what piece of the business that's attached to you, because you said it's built around you. I'm trying to visualize what that looks like. Does that mean, are you really relational? Like, it's really important that you're the guy talking to the customers because you're the what is it? What does your days look like?
Yeah, I'm doing 10 to 12 estimates for homeowners a week. I go in and meet with them. I'm booking about half of my jobs, and then I'm taking my guys out for breakfast and giving them the jobs. And then I'm running the administrative side as well. Because I'm in a franchise, they do my bookkeeping and payroll, which is nice. But there's an administration side that I'm doing. So I'm not really attached to any of those as much as I've just done it for so long. I'm kind of like just put my head down for one last year and then get Revive up to a little bigger and jump ship.
Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, cool. That's awesome. It's awesome that you're not emotionally attached to all this stuff. We just need the systems you really need to be building are the ones to create space for yourself on the painting side. And I know you went through the boot camp and you're building all these systems for Revive, which is awesome. Are you in a down season right now? Is this a low part of the year for painting? Can we build some admin systems and sales systems so we can try to put a couple people around you, even if they're part-time, even if it's not a totally clean handoff and there'll be a little work? Wouldn't that be beneficial to you to have those people in place that know what they're doing?
It would be. My only fear with that is just this will be the last year that I'm kind of like, I don't know if there's a point of training. I'm not sure. One thing with painting too is it's very like a consultation, and I'm not saying I'm the only guy that can do it, but you would kind of need to hire someone who's done it and then I think give them a roadmap of the future. And if I'm kind of like, this whole thing's going off a cliff in 9 months, like, I don't know if that's really, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. That'd be like my only hesitation.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, why do we want to invest and train all these people only to take away their job? And they don't know that you're going to do that. And so that would be really crappy for them. But let me ask you this. The painting business, I know that the margin on a franchise for painting is probably a lot lower than on your pressure washing business for sure.
It's 15%, 1.5.
Okay, 15%. All right.
Yep.
And then if we build out a middle management team, it's going to go a lot down even further, right? Like, that's how that works.
So, but I would be sorry, one last thing. I would be all for hiring a manager to eat away that 15% if it was a buffer from me to the field. Like I would do that in a heartbeat.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Let me just think about this for a second. Because let's say that the painting business was automated and you only had to check in on it an hour a day. You meet with your team, have coffee. If that was true today, would you still get rid of it?
No, I would keep it going. I mean, it makes me $120,000 a year, so it's easy.
Well, if it makes you $120,000 a year, how is the margin 15%? Are you taking a large salary and you have 15% left over after your salary? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, that's what we need to do. You're really close to finishing what I call the cycle on the painting business. You know, it's one thing. I had a call this morning with someone that has $100,000 maid service, but then they also have a pressure washing company, and they really quickly realized, I'm not making any money in my maid service. I'm making tons of money in the pressure washing, and their efforts are divided. And he's wanted to dump the maid service, and it kind of makes my stomach hurt when someone dumps, all that work. But in his case, it made a ton of sense. There was no profit, no margin. It was still really small, and so we could pivot and focus. But in your case, you have like a real asset here. It is profitable.
Yeah.
You have a team.
Yeah.
We just need to finish building the rest of the team. If it doesn't work, then you go back to plan A, which was just get rid of it. But if you don't create space, it's going to take like many years for you to build up Revive to where it needs to be. I just want I want your time. I want your mental bandwidth to be available to grow Revive, right?
Yep. I completely agree. And for painting, I'm in, stage 3. I'm a sales guy. I wear a golf shirt, drive around, look good. I'm not painting. I'm not going to the sites really. So complete the loop. Are you meaning
to go to stage 4 immediately? Yeah. That's all I'm talking about. So you can hire an admin office person that's super friendly to schedule all the estimates and do stuff that you currently do on the phone. That'll be inexpensive. Mm-hmm. And we got to find a charismatic, trainable guy that can learn how to do the consultative thing, which may be hard. I don't know. But if you spend some time at Starbucks on your next system and really lay out the architecture of how you do your job when you're selling, most of it you just do it without thinking because you're a salesperson and it's in your head. Mm-hmm. If we can get it out of your head and find the right personality, I think it would work.
Josh, I had my sister do it last year. She booked half our 500, $250,000, but it wasn't like booked well. It was underbid and all this stuff. And I take full responsibility. Like I didn't have any built out SOPs or anything. So that I have kind of launched and failed with that. And I'm not saying it doesn't make it right. I just think I didn't go about it the right way.
No, you did it the perfect way. I think your expectation was wrong. Of course she's going to do it wrong for a little while. You probably sucked at it your first year in business. Yeah. And you underbid stuff, but so the trick isn't to just say, throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's just to fix those little issues. So if we get creative and clever, we can never have it perfect, but we can keep improving it. Is she available to work for you? Would she want to do full-time sales?
She asked and I said no.
Dude, this is an answer to our prayers. What are you doing? This is your ticket.
No, I know. You know why I said no, though, is because when her jobs just sucked, like our company lost money, and I got so stressed out, and my guys hated her, and so I just fired her last summer and took over. And I've just kind of put to bed the whole recruiting training on the painting side because I'm like, come Christmas this year, I'm going to get married and get out of it. And then just
did the guys hate her because she priced it wrong and they get paid commission?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, but they don't hate her as a human. She's not an evil winch or something, right?
No, she's really nice.
Okay, well, if we can fix the pricing issue, then everything would be okay. Is that true?
Yeah.
How do we fix the pricing issue? Well, what can we build to make it far less common for her to underbid something?
I could build an actual set pricing manual that she would, go off of for bidding.
You could also go to your crews and you could give them like a temporary safety net type offer, which puts a little bit more liability on you instead of on them, because you definitely don't want your crews being restless and leaving. That'll be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So, for example, if a job is, messed up, how can we shift the blame or the risk from that being messed up off of them and onto you? And then you'll still build systems to protect yourself against it, but that could help as well, right? Yeah,
totally. The other thing with Esther, though, she's not super detail-oriented, which always drove me up the wall. I'm not a perfectionist, but I'm very, detail-oriented. So, with quotes and that, it wasn't great. I just find the pressure cleaning business is easy compared to painting. There's more.
I know, man. I'm not an advocate for painting business. I'm just telling you.
I know.
Let's get you an extra 20 hours a week to plow into the pressure cleaning business.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, does it really matter, given your plan with this whole thing, if she's not that perfectly detailed and everything isn't perfect? I mean, if we can squeak out 18 more months out of this, you're going to have a clean handoff, right?
Yeah, totally. No, I
don't know.
It doesn't really matter. Yeah, no, that's good to. You bring up a really good point for me to really push into, because I think it's what's needed to really get Revive taking off like a rocket ship,
I have on my desk right here. I'm in my office. This is for myself. I have what's called an Entrepreneurial scorecard, and I look at it every day. And it has 4 columns. It has $5 an hour tasks, $50 an hour tasks, $500 an hour tasks, and $5,000 an hour tasks. My job is to live. I can't 100% live in the $5,000 an hour task, but I want the lion's share of my time to be there. And it's actually not perfect for me because of the size of our software company and some of the things, right? When I'm doing management and meetings and creating content or recording a podcast, that's a $500 an hour task. But the 5,000 are things where I'm doing strategic planning. I'm doing massive networking and partnership building and opening up big channels and distribution channels that won't even benefit us for a year, but will be $1 million account when it does. But what happens with business owners is they get stuck in the $5 and $50 an hour task. And when you're running a quote, that's what that is.
Totally.
Now, a different form of sales would be you developing strategic relationships with people that could unlock $1 million worth of painting business. Well, that's different. We wouldn't have your sister do that stuff. But when someone calls your phone and says, I need a quote to paint my house, she can totally do it.
No, and when she did it last year, it was underbid and whatever, but just my time being freed up was the best thing ever.
And we can fix the underbid problem. It's not like Mount Everest. It's not impossible. We can improve it, right?
Yeah, totally. Can I ask one more question, Josh? If I'm shooting for 200-ish this year with Revive, what does that look like for an administration point of view? Is that it's 330 jobs we got to do? Is that me picking up the phone, or is this worth building out a 15, 20 hour a week position for a university kid to take over the phone?
In your scenario, it's worth building your team as quick as you can. But you have an unfair advantage. You get a little bit of money. You make good money off of your core business, and if we can get you out of it, even though you won't make 120, let's say you make 60, okay?
Yeah.
But you hire some people. But you have enough free cash flow to build a team quicker. And I highly recommend building a team as fast as possible, because we want to keep moving you up that entrepreneurial scorecard. And so at first, when we start the year, you're going to be doing a lot of $5 and $50 an hour tasks, which is normal. You're going to go out in the field. You're going to train your crew. You're going to hire people. You're going to interview people. You're going to build these systems like you are at Starbucks. But as soon as we build the team around us, then we get to move up a level, right? So I think you can do a lot more than $200K, first of all. I would shoot for 3 personally. I don't think that's unrealistic, but in any event, if you do 200 and you have the same margin that you have now, you should have 70 or 80 grand in net profit after taxes. You said you got 30 grand off of doing how much revenue?
89. Yeah.
89, right? So you got 30% left.
Yeah.
That's going to scale up a little bit. So at 200, you're going to have 75 grand. Or you can pay someone $15 grand for the season part-time, and they'll take all that off your plate. So it's a complete no-brainer.
Totally. Yeah, I totally agree. So I should, for two big takeaways, I should be looking for that part-time admin person come into Revive, and then I should be talking to Esther or someone else for the possibility of the paint quotes.
Yes, absolutely. You need to build the systems to fix the previous problems with her being in that role. And whether you hire her or someone else, we're going to try to get clever on how we can make the crews happy and make the salesperson happy, and let them really clearly understand the whole reason you're hiring them is so that you can focus on something else, right? And then, get an admin person for the other business. And then every other spare waking moment should be driving sales and making relationships for Revive.
Yeah. Yeah, because right now it's just me doing, $700 grand and then field staff. There's no one else. So it's like definitely a skill I need to learn to.
Exactly. You haven't thought big enough yet. Let's say that you had previously owned a $10 million service company, that you started from scratch and scaled. Let's say that that was your life experience. And now you are where you are now, and you're in charge of this business. Can you see how the perspective of what the next steps would be, how it would be so much different? Yeah. Right? Because that person would have certainty in the right steps. And that's what's really hard, is we're not sure. We're like, I don't know, it's risky. I don't want to take too much risk. And it's all real. I totally get it. The only risk you have is keeping doing it the way that you're doing it now. Because if you got hurt or sick and you were down for a month, everything is going to burst into flames. It's actually more risky to not build the team. Yep. You need to quickly build it and make it a good team. Like, I don't mean quickly just hire a warm body. Like, spend some time on it while you have the down season, but you should be obsessed with getting the right players on the team and let them run, let them go. Just monitor it and coach them through it, and be smart in how you tweak your systems to make sure everybody's happy. Yeah, totally. I think I view it too much as just like, me being able to do everything, like Superman syndrome. And that's because it's true. These businesses exist because you are the Superman guy, but that's not what scales them. So there's a ceiling on it, and this is why people get stuck. This is the definition of why businesses grow, flatline is what we're talking about. Yep. Totally. And that you are Superman. Normal people can't do this stuff. You're a maniac. My painting company's been at $500K for like 5 years now, and it's like good money. I've saved up and bought a house, and it's like great, but it's just like, I don't want to have it there forever, Yeah, because you're doing what I talk about on my podcast all the time, which is the way that you do business, what you're describing to me, the way your work schedule in life is structured has a ceiling on it. And you hit the ceiling at 500, and that's why it's hanging out right there. Yep, totally. Yep. And it's not bad. Like, this isn't like a scolding thing. Like, you're doing amazing stuff. You're super young. You have a heart you want to be radically generous. You want to change the world. You care about your people. You're a good leader. You're doing everything right. We just have you have to learn how to put other leaders underneath you being the leader. That second layer. Which is what your talk with Howard was like. I had a huge takeaway from that, bringing, like, the true sign of a leader is bringing up more leaders. And that's something I really need to learn over the next little bit. Yes. Because you're probably just a really good manager right now, which management is super important. Yep. You're detail oriented, like you said, and you don't drop the ball, and you remember to get the quote on time, and you remember that Bill needs a day off, and you're in your brain, you're holding all this stuff together, which is not easy. Most people can't even do that. But to have your ultimate outcome that you told me earlier, and to have this big profitable business, you can travel the world and do all this stuff and build wells for people. And we have to go the next tier up. So one last thing, I'll let you run. I know you're busy, but my question is, like, at $700,000, don't you think I should be looking for like a GM to come in for 50, 60K, and just like that would free up my time from like 60 hours down to like 10? Yes. Is that how we should look at it? Yeah.
Like, that's not a big chunk of the business. I mean, it's 10%.
You're going to make more money when you bring people in. This is the disconnect. Employees do not cost you money. They make you money. Yeah. All of them. They do. I swear to you. The whole point of an employee is to add value to a piece of the business. And a GM, even though he might not be painting a wall and generating dollars for hours, what he can do is motivate the team. He can solidify relationships with other people. He can get more productivity out of people. He can work with the sales team to get higher prices for more premium by looking at your marketing. When you get the right brain working on something like that, they're ultra profitable. He brings far more value to the business than he takes out. That's what any good employee should be doing, right?
Yeah, no, 100% agree with that.
The hard part is being patient enough for a few months while they transition. And the hard part is you clearly articulating what the expectations are and how you want them to do their job and what the outcomes are, right? So as long as they understand the rules of the game and they're the right type of person, they're an A player, and you work with them, and it might feel slow at first, what'll happen is 6 months or a year later, you step back and you realize this person is better at this job than I ever was.
Yeah,
that's the ultimate goal.
That's what I feel with my painters right now. Like, my guys paint way better than I do, and they know way more about painting than I ever did know. So if I can somehow replicate that in a GM point of view, would be really good.
Yep, that's exactly right. You got it, man.
I think I felt a bit too like E-Myth, like management by application with Esther, like just kind of like, here's how you do a quote, like did a few buddy quotes and kind of get to it, but I didn't really have like a process built out. So it's probably something I could work on here in the next few weeks to get that really dialed in for someone.
Yeah, you definitely can improve that. You can also maybe improve the way you communicate with her. Maybe you communicated different because she's your sister. Like, you know, she needs to understand how important it is, not because you're a money-focused person, but how important the proper pricing is for your team and how if they're not getting paid right, like it causes all kinds of dissension, and she needs to be really careful and measured in how she does stuff, and that you're going to work with her closely on the first few. Like, do a whole bunch of them with her. Like, do the 25 quotes in a row with her so you cover every scenario, but then you can step back and it will work. And then consider paying your guys a minimum rate or something for a job that's a total loser because she makes the honest mistake, you know? Yeah, totally. Oh, that's good. Awesome, dude,
man.
I'm fired up. You're going to crush it this year.
Good.
It's going to be crazy. No, I just want to eat popcorn and like watch you do 2018.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be a good one. And like, we're planning a wedding too come the fall, so we got our hands full. I was so stressed out last year, and I'm just like trying to do more this year, but the team is where it's at. You know, it's not so much being scared of the revenue goal, it's how are you going to go about doing that. Like, we did 600 last year, just me, and I was like stressing out, you know?
Oh, yeah. And actually, after, you know, as we wrap up the conversation, it's really clear to me that why you set a $200,000 goal. It's because when you look at that goal, you can feel the what it felt like in the busy season last year as you were doing the other goal. And so you're looking at it from the framework of how do I do more without changing how I do what I do. That's incongruent. Yeah, you're at the ceiling, so you can't.
Right.
Yep.
And that's how I looked at it, was just like, you know, cash in and make as much as you can because it's my last year painting. But I don't really want to have a repeat of just like such a gong show last year.
Yeah. Oh, man. You're only 12 to 18 months away from having what you want. Just remember that.
No, that's good. I need to hear that. Thanks for that.
Hey, thanks for hanging out, friends. And from all of us here at the Quick Talk Podcast team, we hope you loved today's show. We hope that you were inspired to become a doer and not just a listener. Apply what you've heard today in your own business and watch things change for the better. Lastly, remember that all the money in the world can't save your soul. Seek first the kingdom of God, my friends. We'll see you next time.
For more information about the Quick Talk Podcast or Joshua's other businesses, visit our website, quicktalkpodcast.com. Have a blessed day.